Hello everyone, my name is Khanam and in this tutorial we are going to learn completely about DOM, which stands for Document Object Model. Okay, if we are creating website using HTML and CSS, okay, HTML will add structure to our website and using CSS we can add styles to our website. But if you want to make your website interactive, which means that adding data, deleting data, modifying data, then we have to use JavaScript inside our website so that we can make our website interactive. Okay, when we use JavaScript in our website, then DOM plays a very important role, that is our document object model. Using this concepts we can add, modify, delete data from our website. Okay, if you are having website, suppose I'll just show you an example. Okay, I have just created one simple to-do list and this is only using HTML and CSS. Okay, now if I want to add some data here, now when I click on this add button, I can't add. Okay, using only HTML and CSS we can only give the structure and we can only give the styles to our website. We can't make it interactive. If I click on this, it is not going to add this apple here in my list item. I can't add the data, I can't delete any data from here. Okay, using HTML and CSS we can do only so much. But once we add JavaScript to this and once we use the concepts of DOM in this, then we can add data, delete data, modify data, add style, whatever stuff we want we can do using DOM. Okay, now I'll just come to this project code. If I just uncomment the script tag, that is my JavaScript. Now if I refresh this one, you can see now I got all these buttons here. I added these styles in my JavaScript and when I click on this, you can see it's getting cancelled. Okay, all the styles from this is been applied to this and also I can remove the items from here. Now if I want to add, if I add apple, now if I want to add the item, you can see my apple has been added here. Now if I want to delete, I can delete the item. Okay, using JavaScript you can see I can add data, I can delete data, I can modify whatever I want, I can do using JavaScript. Okay, so DOM plays a very important role when it comes to creating interactive website. When we want to add and delete data, modify data, then all these concepts will be very much useful. Okay, now we'll be seeing lot of examples in this project, but as of now I just showed you the example of how our JavaScript works in our web pages and in our websites as well. Okay, now what is DOM? Okay, when our web page is loaded, the browser creates a DOM for the page. Now suppose this entire, whatever you can see here, this entire thing is my window and this whatever it's visible, this 100% view height, whatever it's visible to me, where our content will be displayed, that is our DOM, that is our document object model. Okay, that is basically its document and this entire thing is my window. Wherever your content is visible, that is called as document. And document is created once our web page is loaded, a document will be created. Okay, this is the example of DOM. Okay, first I'll be having window, which is entire screen of my laptop, and second whatever content, wherever my content is visible, that is my document. And document is nothing but it is a special object of a window and it is basically our HTML document. Complete HTML code is called as document. Okay, and DOM is nothing but a special object of window. We'll be seeing an example on this. Okay, now my HTML will be having head and body. You can see here in my code, my HTML is having this complete head and body. Okay, you can see here HTML is having only head and body. Inside head I'll be having titles, I'll be having meta tags, I'll be having links. Okay, inside body I will be having all this h1 heading tags, paragraph containers, div containers, span tag, whatever tags I want I can just define inside my body. And my head will be having title and meta tag and also links, and my HTML will have this head and this body, and my HTML is the parent of this head and body. And my document is nothing but my entire HTML and my window is this entire thing. Okay, we'll see an example in console, then we'll understand what is this. Okay, DOM is nothing but it is a special object of our window. First we'll understand examples on document object model, then we'll learn further about it. Okay, now you can see here I have one folder. Okay, I have created my folder DOM session, and inside this I have index.html and script.js. Now inside my index.html, you can see here I have changed my title to DOM manipulation. I have one h1 tag. For this I have given the id as heading. I have my paragraph, and here I have this input tag and my button here, button element. I'll just copy this path. I'll reduce this. Simultaneously we'll be seeing our output. Now I'll be pasting my path here. I'll just close this shopping list. Now inside this you can see here I have my h1, that is DOM session. Inside this I have one paragraph, I have one input tag and my button here. Okay, everything is displayed here. Now just right click on this, inspect, or you just press F12 and our developer tool will be opened. Now here I have this console and elements. Okay, before we were working only in elements when we were using only simple HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now we'll completely work on console. Okay, inside elements you can see all our content, whatever we have written here HTML, it will be visible here. You can see all the content will be visible here. Now we are not going to see this, we'll be working only in console. If I just come to console, and I told you using DOM we can add the data, we can modify data. Now if I add apple here, I want it should be displayed somewhere else. I don't want it to display here. Okay, we can do lot of stuff using DOM session, using document object model. First here in my console, if I write this window, and you can see here inside my window I'll be having my document as my object. Okay, here you can find, you can see my document. Okay, my window is having this document as an object. So document is nothing but it is a special type of object. Now if I in my console, if I just give here window, I'll just clear this. I'll be giving document here. Now when I click on document, you can see my document is nothing but my entire HTML document. Whatever content I have inside my HTML code, that will be displayed when I give here document. Okay, for window, window is nothing but it is our global object, so we don't have to define this window dot document. Okay, it will work, but we don't have to define window dot, but document is object of window, so whatever properties, whatever attributes we want, we have to give document dot to access the content inside it. See, I'll be getting the same output. If I give window dot document, I'll be getting the same output. If I directly give window, I'll be getting the same output. Okay, that is if I directly give document, then also I'll be getting the entire HTML document. But now if I give this document dot h1, if I want to access my h1 tag, you can see here I'll be getting this undefined. But instead of this, if I just give here document dot get element by id, and my id name is, you can see here, heading. We'll see what is get element by id later on. Heading, I'll just give the full spelling, heading. And now if you see, this document will access my entire h1 data which is having the id heading. Okay, this is how it will work. For window, we don't have to give window dot to access the window properties. We don't have to give window because window is our global object. By default, it will understand it is Windows object. Okay, and for document, document is object of window. So for accessing elements inside the HTML, we have to give this document dot, and this method's name we have to give. We have get element by id, get elements by class name. Okay, we'll look into that, but as of now this is just a simple example to access elements inside our HTML. Now I'll just clear the screen. Now if we want to display this data using JavaScript, okay, I have created my JavaScript file. You can see here script.js. Now inside this I'll be writing the same thing, console.log. I'll just give document dot get element by id, and my id name is heading. If I just give here, if I save this, now if I refresh this one, you can see I'm not getting any output because I have not linked my JavaScript file inside my HTML. I'll just come here. Now if I just link my JavaScript, we know that JavaScript file can be linked inside head tag, inside body, and also anywhere inside the script. Now inside my script tag, I'll just give this src and I'll be giving my JavaScript file. Now if I save this and now if I refresh this, you can see here I'm getting the output as null. Why? Because my JavaScript is executed here. I'm accessing this id here. Okay, now if you see here, when my JavaScript is executed here, my ID is not loaded inside my web page. My ID is below my JavaScript. Okay, it is not loaded, so I am getting the output as null. There are many ways to fix, but the simple way to fix is just copy this one and paste it below the body tag, so that everything gets loaded first and then I can access my JavaScript. Now inside my JavaScript, it can access easily my heading tag. Okay, now if I refresh this one, you can see I got my output here. You can see here clearly I got my output, that is my h1 element, entire h1 element I got as my output. Okay, this is how we will be accessing HTML elements using this methods and properties also we'll be seeing later on. Okay, using this one. Now suppose we have one event function, event functions. Okay, we have one event function, that is, I'll just give this window dot add event listener, and inside this I'll be giving this DOM content loaded, and inside this I'll just pass my function. Now inside this I'll just copy this one and I'll be pasting it here. Okay, I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see I'm getting the output. Now once I give this window dot add event listener, okay, this DOM content will load all our elements even before CSS and images gets load. Okay, now if I just copy this script tag, and now if I paste here, I'll save this, and now if I refresh this, you can see again I'm getting the output. I'm not getting my output as null. Okay, because this has loaded everything before it loads our HTML and CSS. So we will be having this data inside our DOM and we can access it easily and we can print it. Okay, so I'm getting this output because it is already having this data because of this event function. Now I'll just bring it to the normal position. I'll save this. Now I'm just going to remove this entire thing. Okay, this is how it works and using DOM. Okay, now if we see here document, now inside document I have all this data. I have this HTML, I have this heading, I have this body. Okay, all the stuff I have. Now if I want to access my head, I will just give here document.head. If I just enter, you can see all the data inside my head I will be getting as my output. Again, if I want my body, I can just give document.body and all the data inside the body will be getting me as an output. Okay, I can easily define this head, body. Okay, the content I can access it using DOM. Okay, now if I want to change the content, now you can see here my heading is DOM manipulation. You can clearly see inside my title I have given the data as DOM manipulation. Now if I want to change the data, I'll just give here document dot title. I want to access my title, so I'll be giving title, and you can see here my title is DOM manipulation. Now it's clearly visible here, DOM manipulation, and now I'll just change it to hello world. Now you can see here my title is being changed here. Okay, it's changed here, but it's not changed inside my HTML. It's changed inside this. You can see in my project here my title is being changed to hello world. Now once I refresh this one, now I'll be getting this DOM manipulation. Okay, we can change the data, we can modify, we can delete whatever we want. We can do using all these concepts of DOM, that is document object model. Now here I have this output, that is DOM session. This is my h1. Now if I want to change this content, okay, inside my h1, you can see here I have given the ID as heading. Now I want to change this DOM session to JavaScript. I'll be creating one variable. I'll be giving my variable name as heading. Inside this I'll give this document object and I want to access my ID. So I'll be using this method get element by ID, and inside this I'll just pass my ID name, that is my heading, which I have given to my heading tag. Now here for my variable, that is heading, now my heading variable is storing this entire element, this entire h1 element. It is stored inside my heading variable. Now here dot inner HTML, I'll just give this property, inner HTML property, and I'll be changing my DOM session to JavaScript. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, I'll just give here document. I'll save this, and now if I refresh this one, you can see my DOM session, that is my h1. this content is changed to my JavaScript. Okay. Get element by ID, we can access our ID and we can change the content inside our h1 element, inside our not h1, inside our HTML elements, we can change the content here. Now you can see here my paragraph is holding this entire stuff. Now if I want to change my paragraph, okay, I'll just give here var, I will give here para, I'll create my variable as para, I'll be giving this document dot, I'll give this query selector, I'll explain you what is this query selector and all. I'll be giving my paragraph, that is my P. Now inside my para dot inner HTML, I'll just change it to hi. Now I'll save this. Now this my paragraph is holding this entire content. Now as soon as I refresh this, you can see it is holding only hi. Okay, I have changed my paragraph content, the entire content to hi. Okay, this is how we can change our HTML content. We'll see some definitions on this. I'll just remove this. I'll not remove, I'll just comment this everything. You can see here, okay, JavaScript can access and change all the elements of an HTML document, which means that HTML document which is having our entire data, entire HTML elements, okay, all our heading tag, all our body tag, all the h1 heading tag, paragraph tag, all the data our HTML document will be having. And JavaScript can access those elements and it can change all the content. We have seen in our previous session that I have changed my h1 DOM session to JavaScript and my entire paragraph to hi. Okay, this is how using JavaScript we can change the content of our HTML elements. Now next we have what is HTML DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model. We have already seen this. Okay, it is a standard for how to delete, modify, add HTML elements. Okay, we can delete as well. I have already shown you in my shopping, that is my to-do list. We can add the data, we can delete the data, and also we can modify the data based on the code we have written. We can do all kind of things using this HTML DOM. Okay, it defines all the HTML elements as an object. We have already seen this. Now if I give this window, and now if I want to access my document, I just have to give this window.document, or directly I can give document. For Windows we don't have to define window keyword. For Windows properties, to access Windows properties, we don't have to define this window keyword. We can directly access using, we can only write document, or also we can just write here inner height. Okay, for Windows properties we don't have to give window.inner height, window.inner width. Okay, this also works, but we don't have to define this. But document is object of window, so whatever properties document is having, we have to write document and then we have to define that property. Now if I just give here document, then also I'm getting the output. Okay, this is the output and this is my document, entire document, and it is having all my HTML content. And also properties of all HTML elements, methods to access all HTML elements, methods and properties will be seeing on, and firing events to all HTML elements. Okay, events are nothing but we can add click events, we can add on change events, we have mouse events. Okay, we have many events. Okay, we can add those events to our HTML element. I can just tell whenever I click on this button, my content should be displayed in some other way, my content should be highlighted, my content should be colored, it should get background. Okay, we can add all kind of stuff using events. Okay, here I have just written that example, var item and document.getElement by the, we have already seen this. Okay, now in my project, okay, this is my project, I'm not going to explain this. Okay, we will be writing this project again so that we can understand in better way, okay, what we are doing. Okay, I'll just come to my this file. Okay, I'll just open my file. Okay, this I have just created one project. I'll just copy the path. Now I'll be pasting it here. Now you can see here I have this list items and I have this cross symbols. We will not work on this, we will create that and we are going to work on that. Okay, so that we can understand how we are creating this one and what are the styles we have applied. Okay, now before moving further, I'll just explain you this one. We have already seen that one. Using this, I have just created one variable, document.getElement by ID, and my ID name is items, and I have changed my title to hello world. Now inside my ID name is items here. I'll just come to index.html. If you see here, my ID name item I have given to my UL list. Now my UL list is having all this list items. You can see all the list items my UL list is having here. Now I'll just copy this path. Now again I'll just paste it here. We'll just see this example and later on we'll see how to create this one. Okay, now you can see here my list item is having all this, my UL list, all this list items it is having. Okay, now as soon as I change my list content, I'll just uncomment this one. I'll save this. Now once I refresh this one, you can see all the content whatever my UL was holding, this entire list items, these buttons, everything has gone and only this data is been displayed. Okay, all the content has been modified and whatever data I have given inside my UL list, only that is displayed in my website. Okay, this is how we can change the content of an HTML element. Okay, now what is this get element by ID? Okay, I have written the definition. It is our method. Okay, methods are nothing but the actions which are performed on HTML elements. Like we can add the data, we can delete the data, we can modify the data. You can see here by deleting all my list items, I have added hello world to my UL list. Okay, this is how we can add data, delete data, modify data using these methods. Okay, we have many varieties of methods, we have many kinds of methods. We will see what are those methods. And this inner HTML, it is our property. Okay, property is nothing but it's a value that we can set or replace values for an HTML element. Okay, I have set this hello world to my UL list. Okay, this is how our inner HTML will work. This is just a property. Using this we can add whatever content we want inside our HTML elements. Okay, this is all about get element by ID and inner HTML. Now I'll just comment this one. Now if I refresh this, you can see all my content whatever I have written inside my index.html. I got this one and I have just created this using Bootstrap. We'll see how to create this one. Now next we have what is HTML DOM objects. Okay, it is the owner of all other objects in our web page, which means that all other objects are our HTML elements. Okay, and document is the owner and all the rest elements it's their children. Okay, you can see here. Okay, our document is the owner. You can see a document is owner and all the content whatever it is having, those are called as objects, and this objects and these properties can be accessed using our document. Now I have just written some things here. Type of object we have already seen. Type of object, I'll just clear this one. I'll be pasting it here. Now you can see a type of document is object. Type of document is object and document is the special type of window object. Now if I just give here document, we have seen we have this document.all. I'll just copy this one and I'll be pasting it here. You can see it is giving me an HTML collection of 12 elements and it is giving, you can see here it is giving me HTML, it is giving me head element, meta, title, body. Inside my H1 I have this heading, button, I have script, I have whatever I have inside my HTML. I'm getting this data. You can see here first I have my HTML, next data, then meta tag, then I am having my title. You can see all the stuff, all the meta tags, all the tags whatever I am having, I can just access it using document.all and this will give me an HTML all collection, which means that I can access this using array, I can access this using index number. Now if I just access it using my index number, I'll give this document.all and inside my index I'll just give 2. At index 2 I have this meta tag. Now I'll just enter this one. You can see I'm getting this meta tag and inside my index 2 meta tag I have this one. You can see I have this one. This is my index 0, this is my index 1 and this is my index 2 and I got the data what I want. We can access it using index number as well. Okay, now next I have this document.body. We have already seen this. If I just give this document.body, I'll be getting the data whatever I have inside my body. You can see only the body content I'll be getting as my output. If I give this document.url, I'll be getting my file path whatever I have here. I'll be getting that file path. If I give this document.url, I'll just clear my screen. Now I have this document.head. I'll copy this one. I'll be pasting it here and it will give me head content. Okay, inside my head I'll be having this meta tag, I have this title. Okay, I'll be getting this as an output. Now if you see here, okay, my head is having this meta tag, 1, 2, 3 meta tags, 1 title and 1 link, which means that these are the children of my head tag. Now if I just give this document.head.children, I'll just paste it here. You can see here inside this I'm getting this everything. I'm getting HTML collection of 4 data, that is my meta tag, and title. This is how we will be getting HTML collection of children. Okay, when we are having more than one children, we'll be getting HTML collection, and we can access this using index numbers. Now if I give here document.head, and if I just give 3 here, see I'm getting my title, my children number 3 is title, my index, at my index number 3 I have my title 0, 1, 2 and 3, and that will be displayed. Okay, and my head is having this children, meta title, and we can access the children using index number. I have this document.images. If you have images in your website, then you can just give this. Now as of now I don't have any images in my website, so I'll be getting empty collection of an array. Okay, you can see I'm not having any number and I don't have any data, but still I got empty array as my output, and the length is 0 here. Here my length is 4 and here my length is 0. Okay, that's all. We can do lot of stuff here. We can just access all the elements, all the properties using document dot. Okay, whatever properties you want to access, you can modify, you can delete, you can add. Okay, we'll see more about methods and properties, and then we'll understand how to add, how to delete in more better way and in more advanced way. Okay, now we have already seen this, changing the content. I'll just copy this and here I'll be pasting. Now instead of DOM manipulation, this content, it will be changed to hello. I'll save this. You can see here it is changed to hello now. Now as soon as I refresh this one, it will go, because I have not changed inside my JavaScript. I just changed in my console to show you the output. Okay, we have seen this. We can access using index numbers. I have already accessed this one. And changing the content using inside. Okay, this also we can do. We can change the content of that particular element. I'll just uncomment this one as of now, and here I'm getting this. I'm just getting the warning that all is deprecated, but let's see an example. Let's see what is this. I'll just come to my DOM. I'll refresh this one. You can see here my title has been changed now. I'll just comment this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see I have my title as DOM manipulation. As soon as I give uncomment this one, because at my 5th index I'm having this title. You can see I'm having this title. So when I refresh this one, my title content will be changed from DOM manipulation to JavaScript. Whatever content I have given here, I'm just getting that one. Okay, using this we can change the content. We have already seen many times. Now finally we'll come to our selectors. This is very important section, and in this we are going to learn everything about methods. Okay, you can see here I have this get element by method, get elements by class name. Okay, I have many methods here. We'll see an example on this and then we'll understand what is this. Now in this session we are going to learn completely about selectors. Okay, we have this get element by ID, get element by class name. We have query selector, query all selector, get elements by tag name. We are going to see this example and then you will understand in better way. Okay, I'll just open my file. Okay, in this index.html I have this basic heading. For this I have given the ID as heading. I have one paragraph. I have one input field. For my input field I have given type as text, placeholder as enter your name, ID is equal to name, and autocomplete off, so that I will not get any suggestion when I try to write there. Okay, I have created one UL list. Okay, inside my UL list I have given the ID as list. I have this list items. Inside each list items I have given the class name called list items, and inside that I have given some fruits name, and here I have this button, and inside this I have the text read more. Now we'll be working in this index.html file, and using our selectors we'll try to access the IDs, we'll try to access the class names, tag names, everything, and we'll look into the example now. I'll just come to my script.js, and inside this first I'll just write one comment. I'll write comment as selectors. Now here I'll be creating one variable. I'll give my variable name as list. I'll be giving this document dot first. This is my first selector, get element by ID, and in my project I have two IDs here. One ID is heading and one ID is list. Okay, I'll be accessing this ID. I'll copy this, and here inside this I'll be pasting this ID. Okay, you have to paste in single quote or double quote. Now I'll do console.log. If I just give this variable name here, I'll just copy this, and here I'll be pasting this one. This element by ID is going to select which element is having this ID, that particular element will be displayed as an output to me. I have saved this. Now I'll open my console. If I refresh my project, you can see in my console I have my list item, that is my UL list. Inside this I have all its children. You can see I have this list items, and inside each list items I have this text. Okay, you can see I have apple, mango, pineapple and mango. Okay, using this get elements by ID list, I have accessed that element, okay, particular element, this entire UL list, and inside UL list I have all these children, so that will be printed as output. You can see inside my UL list I have all these list items, and that will be given me as an output. Okay, when I use this get element by ID, and ID will be only one in index.html, which uniquely identifies particular element. Okay, this console I have just separated. Okay, if you want to just click on this and you have your options, you can select any one of them. I have just separated my console and browser. Now I am going to clean this. Again, if I refresh this one, you can see I will be getting this output, okay, my UL list. Now this is all about our get elements by ID. If you want to change the content, we have seen many times, but again I will be showing you the difference between inner text and text content. Okay, I will be showing you the difference between them. Okay, here if you see, I have inside my list items, I have this apple, mango, pineapple, orange and this all things. I'll just give here list. First I'll give inner text. Inner text is equal to, I'll just give here, instead of all these fruits, okay, I'll just write the heading as fruits. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see all the content has gone and only fruits is stored here. Okay, using this inner text I have done that one. Now suppose I'll save this. Now I'll bring back my output. I have all these list items. Now instead of inner text, I'll be using this text content property, and inside this I'm going to give fruits again. I'll just give fruits 1. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see even it is changing the content, and whatever content I'm having, that is being deleted, and whatever I have changed here, I'm getting that output. Then what is the difference between inner text and text content? Okay, we have basic difference between inner text and text content. Now if I come here inside my index.html, for my session I'll be creating one span tag, and for inside this span tag I'm just going to give my session, that is this part. Okay, this entire text I'll just copy this one, and inside my span tag I want to paste that. Now inside this I'll be giving this style. Style is equal to, I'll just give here display to be none. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see I have only DOM and my session is being displayed as none. Comment this everything. Now inside below this I'll be creating this heading is equal to, I want to access my ID, document.getElement by ID, and my ID name is heading. Now here in my console, console.log, if I just give here heading dot text content, heading dot text contents, I basically want to display the text content whatever is inside my heading. I have this DOM and session. You can see I'll just refresh this one. Now if I show you in my console, you can see I'm getting this DOM session as my output, but here I have given style is equal to display to be none. Now let's see an example of inner text. I'll just give here inner text. If I give inner text here, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see I'm getting the output as DOM, which means that my text content is going to ignore the styling part, whatever I have given inside my index.html. You can see here I have given display as none, which means that it is not getting displayed in my browser. But in my console, using text content property, I can display the content. Okay, DOM session I'm getting, but using inner text I'm not getting this session because it is giving attention to the styling part as well. My text content is just going to ignore the styling part. It is not going to give attention to styling part, but using this inner text we can give attention to styling part as well, and we are getting only DOM as our output. Okay, this is the basic difference between text content and inner text. Okay, this is all about our get elements by ID, text content and inner text. Now I'll just comment this everything, and also I'm going to remove this span tag from here. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, I have DOM session here, and in my console I don't have anything now. Okay, now we'll see our next selector, that is our, I'll just write here one comment and I'll be giving this, I'll just copy this one and I'll be pasting it here. Okay, that is our get elements by ID. Now next we are going to see get elements by class name. Okay, you can see here for ID we have element, for classes we have elements, because in our HTML we can have more than one classes, but ID will be only one. Now here in my project, if you see here, I have given the classes name for my list items. You can see all the classes name for my list items. So now here what I'll be doing is I will be accessing my list items. So I'll be creating one variable. I'll just give my variable name as list item. Inside this I'll be giving this document dot get elements by class name. You can see get elements by class name, and my class name is nothing but this one. This entire thing I'll just copy my class name, and here I'll be pasting my class name. I'll save this. Now in my console, if I just show you the output console.log, and I want to display my list item, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now if you see, I'm getting HTML collection of 4 items, which means that I'm getting 4 list items. You can see here I have 4 list items. Inside this collection I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have length as 4, and inside 0th index I have all this all the data. We don't need this one, but we are getting HTML collection of 4 items. You can see whenever I hover on this, I'm getting here blue line. You can see this is my orange, this is my pineapple, this is my mango, and this is the apple. Okay, this is how we can access elements using the class name by using this method, get elements by class name. Now we can access this by using the index number. Suppose if I want the item number 3, but its index is 2. So for that I just have to write here console.log. Inside this I'll be writing this list item, and I'll give the ID as 2. I'll save this. I'll just comment this as of now. I'll refresh this one. I'll refresh my project. Now if you see, I'm getting the list item. You can see it's getting blue here, which means that I'm getting pineapple as my output. Okay, using index number we can access individual items, and we can change the content. Okay, whatever we want, we can just change the content of that. Here suppose if I just give here inner HTML or inner text or inner text content, I'll just refresh this one. Now you can see I'm getting pineapple as my output. I'm getting only the content inside that element. This entire thing is my element. Okay, this entire thing is my element, and I'm just getting the text as my output. But this entire element will be getting using this one. Okay, using this I'll be getting the entire element, but using this inner HTML, inner text and text content, will be getting the text whatever I have inside that element. Now you can also change the text content. I'll just comment this. Now you saw my output is pineapple. Now I'll just give here, instead of this I'll be giving this list item, my index number 2, and inner HTML or inner text. Inner HTML I'll just want to give, instead of pineapple I'll just give banana. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you see here instead of pineapple I'll be getting banana here. Okay, using this one we can change the content inside our HTML as well. Okay, now we have changed the content and the banana is being displayed here. Now if I comment this one, now if I refresh this, I'll be getting my pineapple back. Now we'll see how to give styles to all my list items. Now for this list item, I'll just copy this list item. I'll be pasting it here. Instead of this, I want to change the style, and I'll give color. I'll just give here red. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see my pineapple has become red color. We can change the content as well as we can give the styles to our content. Now we will see how to give styles to all the contents. Now suppose for apple I want to give, I just can't write like this again and again. I can't write like this. I'll copy this. Here I'll be pasting that one. I'll write the index number 0, and for my apple I want to give yellow color. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see my apple has become yellow in color. If I have 100 of items, then for each item I can't write like this. So if I want to apply the same styles and same text, so what we will be doing is we will wrap this inside our loops. We'll see how to do that one. Now below this, I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as I. Here I'll be creating my for loop. First I'll initialize my value of I as 0, and inside this, here I'll be giving this I is less than this. item list dot length. We have seen that our length is 4. Okay, in our browser we have already seen that in our console. I'll paste that. So I'll be giving this length, which means that my I will be 0, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, once it reaches 4, this condition will fail. 4 is less than 4 and I'll come out of the loop. Now here I'll be increasing my value of I. Inside this item I just want to access this. I'll copy this one. I'll be pasting that. Before that I'll just refresh this and I'll be getting normal colors, that is black. Now inside this list items I'll be passing I as index, so that first time it will be 0, second time it will be 1, third time it will be 2 and fourth time it will be 3. So for each list item I'm accessing that one and I'll be styling. I'll just give style, and instead of style color I'll just give background color OUND, and we have to use camel case. Background color I'll just give here yellow. Yellow. I'll give orange. Let's just check now. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see my background color is orange now. You can add any styles now. We are not limited to styles. I'll just copy this entire thing and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll just paste that one, and instead of I'll just increase the font size. Font size I'll just give 25 pixel. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see my font size is also been increased. Okay, using for loop we can change the style of all the elements. We can change the content, we can change the styles. Okay, whatever we want we can change inside this while loop. You can also change the content. I'll just give here, instead of this, if I want to give this inner HTML, and I'll just give here fruits. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see all the content has been changed to fruits, which means that all the list items has been changed to fruits. I don't need this part now. I'll save this. Now you can see this is my output. Now once we are done with this selector, that is getting the elements by class name, now we'll see another selector, that is getting element by tag name. Okay, and that I'll just comment this everything. I'm just going to comment, and also this one I'll just comment. Now we are going to see our third selector, that is tags name. Okay, that is nothing but get elements by tag name. I'll create one variable. I'll give my variable name as input. Inside this I'll just give this document dot get elements by tag name. You can see here we have this get elements by tag name here, and inside this I'll just give my input field. I want to select my input field, and in my console I'll just print that output. Okay, that is my variable. I'll just save this now. Now once I refresh this, and if I open my console, each input I have this name and this one. You can see here this is my input, length is 1. I got only one input as my output, because in my project you can see here I have only one input field, that is this one. Okay, inside index.html this is my input field, and this I got as an output. HTML collection, HTML, this hash is nothing but this one. Okay, my ID is name, so hash name, this is nothing but my ID, and this is what it has. Length is 1 and name of the input field. This all properties. If you have time, you just explore this everything. Suppose if I have here 2 input, I'll just copy this one and I'll be pasting it here. I'll save this. Now if I refresh my project, now I'll show you my console. You can see here inside my console I got HTML collection of 2 input fields, that is this one and my this one. You can see, and length is 2, and also I have here 2 input fields. Okay, this is how we can get the elements by tag name. Okay, and this will select all the element by that particular name. I'll just remove this input field from here. Now if I just give here li, that is my list items, I'll give li. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now if I open my console, you can see I got HTML collection of 4 items, that is I have 4 list items here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and my length will be 4. You can see here my length is 4 and I'm getting list items of 4. Okay, this is how we can get the element by their tag names. You can give any name. You can also give UL. If I give here UL, I'll save this, and also I'll refresh this one. Now you can see I got HTML collection of UL list, and inside this I'm having all this UL list, and ID is list. You can see here for my UL my ID is list. And also you can change the content of this elements by using the same method, by using the same for loop. For this list items is equal to is less than, you can just use the same method and you can change the content inside this elements. This will work same as get elements by class name. Okay, this is all about getting elements by tag name. Now we'll move on to our next selector, that is our query selector. Query selector, I'll create one variable. I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as list. Inside this I'll be giving this document dot query selector. Query selector, I just want to select li. I'll show you the difference here. Console.log and just pass my list variable here. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now if I open my console, you can see I'm getting only one list. Okay, if you see my apple, I have the content as apple and my apple is my first list. Okay, this query selector will select only the first element. Whatever it is having, it will ignore. Rest elements it will ignore, and only the first element it is going to select, and that will be given me as an output. Okay, if you have many anchor tags and if you want to select only the first one, then you can use this query selector and you can get the first anchor tag. See, you can see clearly I am getting only one list items because of this query selector. Okay, we have another selector called query all selector. I'll just copy this one. I'll just copy this entire thing. I'll comment and here I'll be pasting that one, and this is my query all selector. If I just give here query all, this I'll just show you what it will print. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see it is giving me node list of 4 list items, that is it is giving me all the content, all my list items here. Okay, you can see all the list items and the length is 4. Okay, this is the difference between query selector and query all selector. Query selector will give only the first element and query all selector will give all the elements with that particular tag name. And also using query selector you can get the elements, you can get the class name as well. Suppose here I have this id, I'll copy this id and here I'll be pasting this id. Now in get elements by id, we were directly using this class name without using dot symbol, without using this hash. You can see here without using hash for id. But while you are using query selector, then for id you have to give hash. If you are having class, then you have to give this dot. If you are having elements, then directly you can write the elements. Okay, now my id is list, so I am giving this hash for id. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now if I show you in my console, you can see I got node list of ul list. Okay, that is having the id list, so I'll be getting this output. Okay, this is my output, and this id you have to give like this only. For id you have to give hash, for class you have to give dot. If I just give here dot list items, I'll just copy this class from here. I'll copy this and I'll be pasting it here. Now without dot if I give and if I refresh my project here, if I refresh and if I show you, see I'm getting empty list because I don't have this class. Okay, I'll just give here dot. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now if I show you, you can see I'm getting node list of 4 list items, that is li. Okay, because all my list li is having this class name, so I'll be getting list items of 4. You can see all list items I'll be getting as an output. Okay, this is how you can access the element. You can change the content inside the element. In this also you can do whatever we did here. You can change the content, everything we can do. If I just take this entire example, I'll just copy this example from here, and here I'll be pasting that example and I'll uncomment this. I've just created, and instead of list item I'll just give list here, length I++ list dot I style background orange, list style I, style font size. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see all the styles have been applied. We can change the color as well. I'll just give here red. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see the color is being changed. We can also increase or decrease the font size. I'll just give 20 pixel. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see the font size has been decreased. We can manipulate all HTML content. We can manipulate the styling part. We can do everything by accessing those elements, and also we can change the content. We can change the styles. Okay, we can do lot many things. Now we are done with our query selector all, and also get elements by tag name. Now changing contents and styles of HTML elements. We have already seen this, how to change the content and how to change the styles of HTML element. Like you can see here, I have one list item. Inside this I have just given document.getElements by class name. Let's see an example on this. Okay, we'll just write one simple code. I'll refresh this one. This is my normal output, where I'll just copy this entire thing from here. I'll just copy this one, and here I'll be pasting that one, and instead of input I'll just give here list, and also here I'll give list get elements by tag name, and also here I'll just want to give list. This is just an example to understand whatever we have learned till now. I'll just save this. I'll refresh this one. Now in my console I'm getting this li is not defined. Get elements by tag name. Okay, this is list. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see I'm getting HTML collection of 4 list items, which means that I can access the elements using their index number. I'll create one variable. I'll give my variable name as li1. Inside this I'll just give this list of 0, and in my console I want to show that one. Console.log, I'll just give li1. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see I'm getting only the first list item, that is my apple. Here I'm getting HTML collection of 4 list items, but using 0th index I'm getting only first element, that is only my first list item. Now if I want, I can change the content. li1 dot style dot let me give color. I'll just give here yellow, yellow I'll give, and also here it is dot. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see my apple color has become yellow. Okay, this is how we can change the content. We can do whatever stuff we want. We can just do like this, and also we can change the background, we can change the color, we can change the content inside that one. We'll see that one. I'll just give here li1 dot inner HTML. Inner HTML I'll give, instead of apple I'll give banana. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see it has changed to banana. I'll just comment this one. Now you can see it has changed to banana. Okay, this is how we can change the content, we can change the styles, and also we can access the elements using their index number. Okay, now we are done with this one. Now we have seen this also, accessing all the elements using get elements by class name and changing the content using for loop. We have seen this. We can also give borders. Okay, we can give all the stylings, whatever we do in CSS we can just do in JavaScript as well. Get access the element, change the content, change the styles. Okay, it's completely depends on you what you want to do. Now in this session we will see how to traverse a nodes. Okay, traversing a nodes. Suppose this is my HTML document, and inside this I have my HTML. Inside HTML I have head and body. Inside head we will be having this title, meta tags, and links, custom links, font awesome links. Okay, all the links. And inside my body we will be having all this content. Okay, now this HTML is the root node. Okay, and our HTML will not have any parent. Don't get confused with this one. Suppose this is my HTML document. Okay, and inside, before this HTML I have this doc type. This line is only to indicate that we are writing the code in HTML. Okay, this HTML is not having any parent, and this is our start of the code. Okay, so HTML is the root node and it has no parents. HTML is the parent of head. You can see head and body. HTML will be having only 2 child. This is head and this is body. You can clearly see it. HTML is having only head and body as its children, and head is the first child. Okay, you can see it clearly. Head is first child and body is the last child of our HTML element. Inside our head we will be having this title, meta tags, and links. You can see here inside our head we can have this meta tag, we'll be having title, we can also have links to connect to our style sheet, we can also have links to font awesome, we can also have links to Google Fonts. Okay, whatever links we want we can just put it inside the head and we can directly connect to that particular link. And inside the body we have all these contents. We have heading tags, we have div containers, we have images, we have input tags, we have all this stuff inside our body. So this is how we will be representing our nodes. Okay, inside HTML we have head and body. Inside head we have title, meta, and link. Inside body we will be having all this heading tag, divs, and images. Okay, now we'll see how to access that one, how to access the parent element, how to access the siblings, how to access the children. We'll have a look on that one. I'll just come to my project, this one. Now inside this, inside my script, I'll just comment this everything. Here I'll be writing session 2 and I'll just write traversing nodes. Now I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as list. Inside this I'll be giving this document dot I'll be using query selector, and inside this I just want to give this id. Okay, IDs we have to give hash when we use query selector. Inside my UL list you can see I have this UL. Okay, I have this list as my ID. Now first we will see about parent node. You can see here first is our parent node, and inside this we have these two properties, parent node and parent element. We will see how to use that one. I'll just come here and I'll just show in my console.log list dot. I'll be giving this parent node. I'll save this, and next I'll just copy the same thing, and instead of node I'll be giving parent element. See in my console, if you see here, first is my body and second is body, which means that my parent of UL list, that is my UL list, is having the parent. You can see these all are siblings, but my body is the parent, so I am getting output as body. You can see first also I got body using parent node, and using parent element also I got the body. Okay, this both will work in the same way. You can use any of this to get the parent of our UL list. Suppose instead of this one, if I use my body, I'll just comment this everything, and also I'll copy the same thing. I'll be pasting it here, and for body I'll be checking, instead of list I'll be giving body document.querselector. I want to access my body element, so I'll just give body inside this, and here I will just give here my parent. Now if I refresh my project and if I show you the output, you can see my output is HTML. This is first and this is second, which means that the parent of body is our HTML element. The parent of body, you can see this head is the sibling, but parent is HTML, because HTML is enclosing all the content of body and heading. So my parent of body is HTML. Okay, this is how we can access the parent of our elements, parent of our content. Now here if I access my list items, and my list items parent will be my UL list. Okay, if we see an example, I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'll be pasting that one. Here I'll just give li. I'll refresh this one. Now if I show you in my console, you can see I'm getting UL list as my parent of my list items. Okay, this is how we can access the parent of any element. Now we have seen about parent node and parent element. Next will be our child node and child element. I'll just give here child node and child element. Now we have this previous siblings. I'll just remove S from here. I'll refresh my project. Now if you see, I'm getting previous sibling as text, which means that my UL list, okay, this is my UL list, I'm accessing this one. Now this previous sibling, I should be getting input text, but this previous sibling is giving the text as my sibling because it is counting the text as its sibling. So for that we have another substitute, like we have for last child, that is last element child. In the same way we have previous element child. I'll just write that one. I'll save this. Now in my console I got input field as my output because my previous sibling of my UL list is my input field. Now if I give next sibling, then I'll be getting button as my output. Okay, you can access any element, you can access any siblings from this. Okay, using this properties we can access this one. I'll just remove this element. I'll just copy the same thing, and here instead of this I'll just write this one. This is my previous sibling and this is my previous element sibling. Previous sibling will give me text as my output and previous element sibling will give the actual element what I need. Now next we have next sibling. I'll just copy this entire thing and here I'll be pasting that one. Now instead of previous, we'll look into our next sibling. I'll just remove this previous. I'll be writing next. I'll save this. Now if I refresh my project, now you can see I'm getting text as my output. Okay, this next sibling, previous sibling, this first child, this all will give me text as my output because it is going to count the line break as well. But we have this next element sibling, so that we can avoid that one. Will not be getting text as our output, we'll be getting our actual element. Next element sibling, I'll refresh this one. Now if I open my console, you can see I'm getting button as my output because this is my UL list and UL list is having next element is button, that is next sibling, and this is its previous sibling. So if you want, you can explore more. I'll just comment this one. Now if I open this, I'll uncomment this previous element sibling dot. I'll just copy this entire thing and here if I paste that one, now this will give me input tag as my output. Input tag's previous element sibling is my paragraph. Let's just see. I'll refresh this one. Now if you see in my console, I'm getting this paragraph as its output. You can explore more and more. You can just give here previous element sibling dot previous element sibling dot previous element sibling. It's going to give me next, it is going to give me h1. Okay, if I give next element sibling, I am having this one, I'll be getting that as my output. Okay, you can also give for parent node dot parent node. You can find its parent and its parent and its parent. Okay, it goes on like family tree. Okay, this is how we are going to work in this. Now we have seen all this first child, first element child, we have seen all this. Now our next section will be creating elements. How to create elements inside our JavaScript. We'll see that one now. Now here I'll just write creating elements. Here I'll create one variable. I want to create one new div. I'll just give here new div. Here I'll be giving this document dot create element method. I'll just give this create element and insert this what I want to create, which element I want to create. I have to give that one. If I want to create h1, I will give h1. If I want to create div, I'll be giving div. Okay, let me just create h1. I'll just give here h1 and here also I'll just give here h1. Now in my console console.log, if I pass this h1, that is my variable. I'll save this. I'll refresh my project. Now if you see in my console, I'm getting this h1 without any content, only my h1 is created. Now you can add class name for this, you can add IDs for this. I'll just take this variable and in this I want to add class name. I'll be using this property class list or class name. I'll be using class name. I want to add my class name as heading. I'll just add heading. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one and in my console, if you see h1 class is added, that is nothing but my heading. I can also add id h1 dot. I'll just write here id and id I want to add heading 1 I'll add. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see I have my class name as well as my heading as my output. Okay, class is added, heading is added, and also we have created the element using this create element method. Now we can also add attributes for this. For adding attribute, we will be using set attribute property. I'll just write here h1, and inside this I'll just write set attribute. Attribute, let me add title. I'll just give here title, and inside title I just want the text as I am heading. I am heading. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one and I'll just open my console, now you can see my title is been added, and the content inside this, whatever I have given here, I am getting this one, that is nothing but I am heading. Okay, this is how you can create element. We can just add the class name, we can add, you can see we can add class name, we can add ID, we can add title. Okay, whatever we want, we can just add this one. Now if you see, I don't have any content inside my h1, that is inside my heading. So to create content, we are going to use another property, another method, that is our create text node inside my h1. Okay, I'll just create one more variable. I'll give my variable name as heading text. Inside this I'll be giving this document dot create. I'll just give here create text node, and inside this I'll be writing this is my heading. I'll save this, and now if I refresh this one and if I show you in my console, you can see I don't have anything inside my console, because whatever text I have written, this I have to append inside my h1. Okay, that is inside this one. So for that, what we have to do is this h1, I have created here h1. I'll copy this variable, and I want to append this one. So I'll be using this append child property, and I want to append my heading text. Whatever content I have inside this, I want to append that inside my h1. Now once I append this heading text inside my heading, only then this content will be added inside my heading tag. I'll refresh this one. Now if I show you, you can see inside my heading this content is added. This is my heading. Okay, this is how we will be creating element, and we will be adding the content inside the element. Create element, we will create the element. Create text node, we are going to add this text node. Okay, text. So you can see it clearly. This is my heading. Just right here this. I'll save this, and again I'll refresh. You can see this is my heading is added. Now this is not inside my HTML document. Okay, this has not been added inside my HTML. You can see this heading is not added inside HTML. It's only present inside my JavaScript. Okay, to add this entire content inside my HTML, okay, you can access any element and you can just append that one. But here I'll just create one variable div. I'll give the ID as new element. I'll just give here new element. I'll just copy this one, and also I'm going to save this. I'll create one variable, I'll paste that one, and I want to access that one. We can access the IDs using this one, document.getElementById, not animations. I'll just give here get element by ID, and inside this I'll be passing my ID. Now inside my new element, okay, this is my variable dot. I want to inside this I'll just give here inner HTML. Inner HTML is equal to this one, this h1. I'll just copy this, and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, here I'll just refresh. You can see I'm getting this object HTML heading element. Okay, this is not been inserted inside my HTML. You can see it clearly, and also in my console I'm just getting this as my output. But here this is not been added inside my HTML. So for that, what we have to do is we have some properties. We have insert before, we have insert after. Now I want to add this content inside my body. So for that, I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as body. Inside this, I'll just access this one using this document.querselector. I'll just access this one. I want to access my body element. I'll just give here body. And I just want to add, this is my paragraph. I'll be accessing paragraph, and this heading I want to insert it before my paragraph. So I'll be accessing my paragraph as well. I'll just copy this entire thing. I'll be pasting it here, and instead of body I'll just give here paragraph. Now inside my body I'll be giving this insert before. I have here insert. You can see I have many properties here, insert, adjacent. Okay, but I'm going to use insert before. I want to insert this heading. Okay, this h1 heading I want to insert. I'll just copy this one. I'll be pasting it here, and before paragraph I just want to insert before this paragraph. So I'll be writing like this. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see this is my heading. This is been added inside my HTML also. Now if I inspect this one, I'll just show you in my console. Inside my elements, you can see here before my paragraph this h1 is also been added, but here you can't see. But in my JavaScript, when I inspect this one, you can see this heading is added, which is having the class name heading, which is having the ID as heading 1, title also I have given, and the content, this is my heading. Okay, this is the simple way of creating element using create element method. Create text node, we are going to add this content, and wherever we want, I just have accessed my body. If you have one container, you can access that container and you can insert that element inside that container also. And I have accessed just paragraph. I can also access this input field and I can insert that before. Okay, now suppose here instead of this, I'll just give here input, and here I'll be giving this input. You can give any variable name, but this should be having the same input field name. Here I'll give input. I'll save this. Now you can see here my h1 is before my paragraph. Now I'll refresh this one. You can see this is my heading is before my input field, and also in my console this input field, this heading is before my input field. Okay, wherever you want, you can just add this one. Okay, this is how we are going to add the content inside our HTML as well. Now we have done all with creating elements, creating text node, selectors. Now our next part is events. Okay, that is very important when it comes to JavaScript. Okay, handling events. In our next session, we are going to look into that. Before moving to our event session, we have some more properties which we have to see. Those are very important. Like we have removing existing HTML elements by using this remove method. We will see how to do that one. I'll just come to my project here. Now here I'll just comment this everything. Creating elements. I'll just access my paragraph here. Instead of this, I'll just access my input field. Okay, I'll be pasting it here. I'm going to uncomment this one. Now to remove this one, you can see here we have this remove method. So I'll be using that one. Input, this is my variable name, input dot remove. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see my input field has gone. Okay, you can remove the elements when you can just give like when I click on this button, this element should be removed. Okay, you can use like that. Okay, this is how we can remove HTML elements. I'll refresh this. I have my input back. Now next we have removing the child nodes. Okay, to remove child nodes, we have to find its parent. Okay, only then we can remove the child of that one. So for that, I'll just come to my index.html. Inside this index.html, not this one, I'll just come to my project here. Inside this one, this is my body, and this body is the parent of all my elements. So I'll be accessing now body, then I'll be deleting the children. You can see here, first I'll access my body, then I'll access the children, and then I'm going to remove that one. Okay, we'll see an example on that, only then we'll understand. Now I just want to remove this button. Button is the child of my parent. I can directly remove the button using this element, but if you want to remove the children from its parent, if you have one container and if you want to remove the children from that container, you can easily remove it. Okay, I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as button. Inside this, I'll just write this entire same thing. I'll be pasting it here. Instead of input, I'll just give my button element. Now this is my children. I want to access the parent as well. I'll just write body. I'll just create one variable. I'll be giving my variable name as body. Inside this, I'll be pasting that one, and instead of this input, I want body. Okay, this is the parent and this is the child. Now I want to remove the child. So for that, what I'll be doing is body dot remove element. Okay, we have all this remove child. You can see here, I have this remove child and I want to remove this child from that. I'll just give here remove child, and I want to remove this child button. I'll just copy this one and I'll be pasting it here. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see the button has gone. Okay, we can remove the elements like this also, that is removing our children's. Okay, next we have replacing the content. Whatever, if I have here button, in place of button I want to replace some other paragraph, I can do it easily. Okay, here I have just created element. I have created my text node. Okay, we'll see an example on this and then we'll understand this one. I'll just copy this entire thing, and in my project I'm going to paste that one so that I can explain you. I'll just paste it here. Now you can see here I have created one variable, and inside this I have just created one create element, and I have created one paragraph. Inside this I have just added create text node, and I have added this text node. I'll just uncomment this, and here also I'll just uncomment this. Now I am just commenting this one. I'll just I'll just show you in console.log, and I'll just show you para. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now if I come to my console, you can see here I have this paragraph create element. I have created my paragraph. Inside this create text node I have this text node. This is new, and I have appended that node inside my paragraph, and in my console I am getting this paragraph with this text. Now I'll be accessing the parent. Our parent is nothing but our body. Okay, I'll just access this body from here. I'll copy this body, and in place of this I'll be pasting that one. Okay, I'm just accessing the parent. Here I am just accessing one child. Let me access my paragraph. I'll just remove this. Instead of this I want to access my paragraph. In place of this I'll just write one, I'll be writing P. Okay, that is my paragraph, and I want to access my paragraph element. Okay, this is my parent, and this is this one. Instead of this one I want to replace this is new text. Okay, now here you have this parent dot replace child, and whatever paragraph I am having, that is nothing but this one, and I am replacing with this child. Now here instead of this parent I have my body. Replace child, I want to replace this paragraph with this one. Okay, this paragraph element with this paragraph. This is new. I'll save this. Now you can see here, now if I refresh this one, this entire paragraph is been replaced with this is new text. Okay, this is how we will be replacing our content. We just have first parameter will be what we have to replace and where we have to replace. Next paragraph is where we have to replace, and first paragraph is what we have to replace. This is how we are going to replace our children text, and we are going to write a completely new text. Okay, this is all about replacing, removing child, and removing elements from the body, from the parent. Now our next section is our events. Okay, event listener, we have many event listener. We have this on change event, we have on mouse over. We are going to see each one of this, and then we are going to make one project. What all we have learned, we are going to make complete one project, and we are going to understand the concepts what we have learned till now. Now we'll move on to our event section. Now this entire file, I am just going to create one new file. I'll comment this. Here I'll be creating one file. I'll give my file name as event.js, and inside my index.html I'm going to link that file. I'll just come here, and here I'm going to link that file event. I'll just create my script tag first, script src, and I want to link event.js file. Now I'll just comment this script.js. Now I'll be working in my event.js file for my events. Now inside my button I'll be adding one simple on click event. Okay, on click I'll just add one alert, and inside this I'm just going to write hello. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this read mode, you can see I'm getting this alert, and it's saying hello. I have this. Okay, I can click on this. Okay, you should be careful with the single quotes and double quotes. If outside, if you are using double quotes here, inside you have to use single quotes, or else you are getting this error. Okay, you can see I'm getting this error because of that. So I'll be getting this error, so I'll be using here single quotes. Now once I use here single quotes, I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this, it's working, and I'm getting this alert. It's saying hello here. Okay, this is the simple event. Now we have always seen that inside, whenever we click on this, we used to pass one function, my function or any function, and inside this function I'll just enclose this with double quotes. Now this function we used to write inside our JavaScript file. Here I'll be defining that function, and my function name is this one, my function. And inside this function I'll just write here one console.log, and inside this I'll be passing one text, I am clicked. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, and I'll just open my console also. Here if you see, if I click on my console, I'm getting this I am clicked text here. If I click on this read more text, I am getting this, I am clicked here. How much time I click, this number is getting increased here. Okay, this is how we used to pass earlier times. Now this is the old way of passing the functions inside our buttons. Okay, now we are going to use our new functions, that is our event listeners, new methods, that is our event listener, and we are going to pass in this way. Now here I'll write one comment, new method. Below this I'll access my button. I'll just write here button, and for that I'll just use this document dot get element, not get element, I'll just use here query selector, and I want to access my button element. I'll just write here button. Now for this I'll be adding event listener, so we can add like this, button dot add event listener. First I'll just add here click functionality, and inside this I want to pass the function. I'll just write here function. I have just written the function, and here I'll be writing this one. Okay, I have just added one event listener, add event listener method, and inside that I'm passing this click event. This method will take two parameters. First is my event, and next is my function. You can either use normal function or you can directly use our arrow function, fat arrow function. Now inside this I'm just going to pass this console.log. I'll be pasting it here. Instead of I am clicked, I'll just write here JavaScript. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, I'll open my console. Now when I click on this, you can see I'm getting error, my function is not defined. Okay, from here, from my button, I'm just going to remove this now. I don't need that one. I'll save this. Again I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this read more, you can see I'm getting this JavaScript. Okay, this is also working, which means that this is also working, and this also works. But we are going to use this method. This is the new method. Before everybody were using this one. Now we are moved on to this one. Okay, that is our event functions, and we are going to pass like this. We can either pass like this, or we have another way of passing this one. I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'm going to paste that one. Now instead of writing this entire function, here I'll just write my function name. I'll just write my function name as my function. You can give any function name. You don't have to close with parenthesis here, open and close parenthesis. Okay, I have added now. Now I have to define that function here. I'll just copy this function from here, and here I'll be pasting that one. Okay, you can either use this named functions, or you can directly give this function, and inside this function you can pass this anything. Now I'll save that one. Instead of this, I'll just write here web development. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, I'll just come here. Now if I click, you can see I'm getting web development as my output. Okay, you can either use this function directly, you can pass the function and you can write the console, or directly you can use this named function, and later on below or above you can define this function. Okay, even that works, and even this works. Now inside this function I'm going to do some changes here, where I'll just select my list items. I'll just select my list items. I'll just give here document dot get elements by tag name. Okay, get elements by name. No, I'll just give get elements by class name. I'll be using class name here. Class name, and inside this I will be passing my class name, that is nothing but this one, this list items. I'll copy this, and here I'll be pasting that one. Okay, I have just accessed that one. Now for this I'll just show you my output in my console. If I just show you in console.log, and here I'll be passing this list items. Copy this, and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this, you can see here I'll be getting HTML collection of all the list items. Whenever I click on this button, you can see I'll be getting like this. Now I want to change the content when I click on this button. So for that, here I'll just copy this list item. I'll just copy this. Here I'll be pasting that one. Here I'll just give here style dot background. I'll give background color. Let me give orange. I'll save this. Now when I click on this, I'll be getting error. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this, you can see I'll be getting an error. It's telling that cannot set background color of undefined HTML button, because it is getting confused that to which element it should be applied. Okay, because I have 4 list items, that is my HTML collection. So for that I have to wrap this inside my for loop, only then it will work. So here I'll be creating one for loop, and inside this I'll be giving variable I 0. I'll just give here I is less than my dot length, items dot length, and I'll be initializing the value of I. Now inside this I'm just going to pass this one, and here instead of this I'll be writing I. I'll save this, and also here I'll put semicolon. I'm going to close this one. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now when I click on this, you can see it's getting orange. You can see all my list items have taken the background color as orange. I can also give margin so that I can separate that one. I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'll be pasting that one. Instead of background color, margin, two pixel. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now when I click on this, you can see I got margin of 2 pixel, which means that I'm getting some space here from bottom, above, top. I'll be getting some margin for this. Using this I can access the individual elements, and also when the click of the button I can change the content as well. I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll be writing this inner HTML. Inner HTML I'll be giving vegetables. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, now when I click on this, you can see all the content is being changed to vegetables. Okay, this is how we are going to add event functions to our buttons, and when the click of the button we can change the content and styles. Whatever properties we have seen before, like changing the content, changing the font size, we can apply all those things inside this for loop, and we can change that everything in when I click on this button. Okay, this is all about event listener. Okay, now next we are going to see about event. What is event? I'll just comment this everything. Now next we are going to look into our event parameter. Okay, event parameter, otherwise known as event argument also. I'll just write here argument. Now event, it is nothing but it is an object which contains all the information, all the actions that we perform. Okay, like when we click on the button, that means that the event has occurred, the event has triggered, and our event is nothing but click. Okay, click event function. When we click on the button, our event is occurred. So we'll just see an example on this, and then we'll understand what is actually event. I'll just come on top. I'll just copy this, and here I'll be pasting that one. I have just accessed my button, and for that I have added one event listener click, and inside this I'm just writing this function. Now here I'm going to define that function. My function name is my function. Inside this I'm going to pass my event argument, and I'll just show you in console.log. I'll be passing my event here. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, I'll open my console. Now when I click on this, you can see I'm getting this mouse event, and inside this I'm having all these properties. Okay, our event is nothing but object, and we can access these properties using dot symbol, object name, dot, and this all properties. We have this offset text, we are going to look into this, and we also have this target. You can see target is my button. When I click on this button, I'm getting this, so my target is my button. Okay, now we can access all this. Instead of writing this event, you can just write here E. Okay, this is the short form. Instead of writing event, we can just write E. Even this works. I'll refresh this one. Now if I click, I'm getting the same output. You can see I'm getting all this output now. Now I want to display all this content inside my HTML. So for that I'll be creating one new element, and I'll be adding text to that, and I'll be changing the content. Okay, so that we can have a revision of all the concepts we have learned till now. I'll just comment this everything. For creating new variable, I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as h1. Inside this I'll be writing this one, document dot create element, and I want to create h1. Below this I'll be creating one variable text, and inside this I'll be giving this one, document dot create text node. This is new heading. Now I want to append that one. I'll be using this append child. Okay, we have already seen this, so I'm going little faster. Text. Now if I show you in console.log, if I show you my h1, I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now in my console you can see I have this heading and this is new heading. Okay, I have this text as well. Now I want to append this inside my body. So for that I'll just access my body variable, body dot, I'll just give this document dot query selector, and I want to access my body element. Now inside my body I want to append child, I want to append my h1. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see this heading has been added inside my body and I got the content. This is new heading. Now I'll just copy this entire thing, button, and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll uncomment this one now. Now for this you can see I have my button and I have added one event listener. I'll just copy this function and here I'm going to paste that one. Now inside this function I'm going to access this heading tag. So for that I'll just add one id for this, for my h1 dot id. I'll just give the id name as title. I'll save this, and now if I show you in my console, if I refresh this, now I have this id called title. Now I'm going to access that id. To access that id I'll just create one variable title. I'll just give this document dot get element by id, and inside this I'm going to pass my id, that is nothing but my title. Okay, now title dot inner html, I'm just going to pass this whatever I'll be getting here, that I am going to pass. First I'll just give here e. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now when I click on this you can see I'm getting object as mouse event that we got in console as well. If I do console, then also I'll be getting console.log. If I just give here e, we have already seen this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this you can see I'm getting this mouse event, that is nothing but my object. Okay, I'm just showing in my browser so that you can understand. Now we also have, I'll just remove this console, I just want to print it here. We have this e dot type, we can find the type of this, only then it works. I'll just give here type. I'll open my console, I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this you can see I'm getting this click. Here also I'm getting this click. We can find type, we can also find the target. I'll just write here target. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this you can see HTML button element, that is my target element. In my console also I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one you can see I'll just remove this. Now I will refresh this one. Now when I click on this you can see my target is my button. Okay, I'm targeting my button, so I'm getting that one. Okay, this is how we can access all the properties of our event object. We have some more. Now inside my button here I'll just give here class name. Class I'll give btn, and also for this I am going to give id. I'll just give here btn. I'll save this. Now I can access id as well. Now instead of this one, whatever element I am targeting, for that I want to see the class name, what class name it is having. Class name, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this it is having the class name btn. I can also give the id. Instead of a class name I can also give here list, class list. I'll save this. I'll just give here list. I'll save this. Now when I refresh this one, now when I click, it is giving me the same output. If I give here id, I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see I'm getting my id as btn. This content is getting changed because inner HTML I have added this one, so this content whatever I have written here, that is getting changed to this one. We have many properties, like another property if I show you, we have this client X, client Y also. I'll just show you. Client X, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this I'm getting 50. I'll tell you what is this 50. In my console I'll just give that one. I'll just copy this and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this, I'm getting this 53. First time I got 50 and next time I'm getting 53 because this represents x-axis, client x represents x-axis. Wherever I click, suppose if I this target element, whenever I'm clicking, see this number is getting changed. Okay, this will give me the numbers from my browser window. This client x will give from the browser window. We have another property, that is our offset x, which will give from the content value itself. Okay, we also have client y. Here also I'll just give here y. Here I'll give y, and in caps I'll just give here y. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see I'll be getting this y axis values. Okay, from the browser window I'll be getting this values. For better understanding, we'll do a project on this and then we'll understand in better way. We also have this offset. We also have offset x, and here also I'm just going to give offset x. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this, I'm getting the buttons, but we have some basic difference between offset x and client x. Client x is nothing but the values whatever we are getting, that we are getting from the browser window, but using offset we are getting the values from the actual element. Okay, from the actual element, whenever the button is clicked, this is my entire element, and from here it is counted. Okay, x-axis and y-axis, from within this element the values are counted for my offset x. For client x, from my browser window, this entire thing will be counted and values will be given to me. We also have some more properties, like we have alt key. You can just explore this one. We have alt key. I'll just write here key. I'll just copy this and here I'm going to paste that. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see I'm getting false, because this property tells whenever I click on alt, when I press on alt key and when I click on this read, I'll be getting true. I'll refresh this one. Now I am clicking on alt. Now I'll be getting my value as true. Okay, this is how it works. In the same way, we have control key and also shift key. Shift key, let's see for shift key here. Shift key, I'll save this. Now I'm not pressing shift key. I'll click on this, I'll be getting false. Again I'll refresh. Now I'll click on my shift key. Now when I press on this, you can see this arrow is also getting changed and I'm getting the value as true. Okay, this is how we can access the values, and we can just print the output for this. Now we are done with this basic events and basic event properties we have seen. Now we are going to see our next event functions, that is our mouse event function. I'll just comment this entire thing. I don't need this one now. I'm just going to comment this. I'll save this. I'll refresh my project. Okay, now we are going to see about mouse event. Now to look into example of mouse events. Okay, here I have already created one div and I commented that one previously. I'll just uncomment this. Now if I refresh this one, you can't see this div container. I'll just write my style tag here. Inside this style, I'll just copy this ID from here, and here for this ID I'm just going to give that some styling. I'll just give width 100, or I'll just give 200 pixel. Height I'll give 200 pixel, and background color I'll be giving yellow. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see this is my container, and also I'll just give margin top of 1 rem. I'll save this. Margin top, I'll save. Now if I refresh this, I got margin top of 1 rem, and this is my container. Okay, which is having yellow background, and width is 200 pixel and height is 200 pixel. For this we are going to see we are going to add mouse event listeners. For this I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as that one, new element. I want to access that one, so for that I'll be using this document.getElements by ID. Get element by ID. Inside this I'm going to pass this element, that is my ID. Okay, now for this I'm going to add event listener. For my new element, I'll be adding this add event listener, and inside this first I'll be passing my mouse down event. Mouse down, you can see here mouse down, and inside this I'll just write here function. Now from above I'll just copy this function. I'll just copy this one and I'm going to paste that function here. I'll just close this. Now inside this function I'll be writing this console.log e.type. I'll just write type. I'll save this. Now if I open my console, I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this, you can see my type is mouse down. Okay, whatever I have given here, this function, that I'll be getting as my output. Okay, mouse down is nothing but whenever I click on my left mouse button, only when I click on my left button mouse, that time I'll be getting this function. we have mouse down, we also have mouse up. I'll just write here mouse up. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now when I click and when I leave this one, I'll be getting this mouse up function. Now we have mouse enter function. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. I'll open my console. Now when I enter this box, I'll be getting this mouse enter function. We also have this mouse out. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I come out of this box, I'll be getting this mouse out function. Okay, we have mouse leave. We have many functions. We have many event functions. You can just see that one, mouse leave function. I'll just leave this. See, when I leave this, I'll be getting this output, mouse leave function. Okay, this is all about mouse functions. You can just explore this one. We'll be having all the explanations about this, how it works and when to use these functions. But this is the functions we are going to use in our projects as well. Now I want to change the background color of this box. Okay, we have seen that offset x and offset y. Using that, we can get the values inside this one, x-axis and y-axis, and also using client x and client y, we were getting the values. Now for this project, we are going to use offset x and offset y, and we are going to change the color of the box. Now here, this is my element. I'm just going to copy this. I'll be pasting it here. For this, I want to change the style and I want to change the background color. Background color. Here I will be passing my RGB value, RGB, which is nothing, stands for red, green and blue. Inside this, I am going to pass the value. This will take 3 parameters. For red, I will be passing e dot offset x. For this, I am going to pass that one, and I am going to concatenate the values now. Now here, I just want to pass my e dot offset y. Offset y. Okay, now this also I am going to concatenate, and I'll just separate it with, I'll just give some random value. I'll give here 23. Okay, this is how I will be passing my RGB value. Okay, this is my first value. This will take the values whenever I click on this, and this is my second value. I have just concatenated that one, and this is my third value, 23. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this, it's not working. Okay, it's not working because here when I click outside, see, it's working because I have given the function as mouse leave. So instead of this, I'll just change it to click now. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on this box, you can see this box color is getting changed based on the values I am getting. Now in my console, it's not. Now in my console, if I just show you the output, console.log, and I'll just give this e dot, I'll paste this one and I'll copy the same thing, and instead of x, I'll be giving y. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now in my console, you can see I'm getting this x and y values, and based on the values, I'm getting this color change. Now suppose if I just give here mouse leave, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now it's not going to work. Now as soon as I come outside, it is going to work. Okay, this is how we are going to use click functions, and we can change any content inside our this one. Now I can also change the body element. Now here I'll just access my body. Body is equal to document.querselector. Document.querselector, and I want to access my body. Now instead of this new element, I'll just give here body. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click, now when I leave, you can see my body color is getting changed. I'll just give here click. Instead of mouse leave, I'll be giving click here. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see whenever I click on this box, my body color is getting changed. You can see my body color is getting changed, and we can use, this is just a simple to explain how it works. This is how we can change the content. We can change the styles as well. This is all about our mouse events. Now next we are going to see about input events. Now we are done with our mouse events. I'll just comment this one. Now next event is our input event. Input events. Now inside my index.html, you can see here I have already created one. I'll just refresh this one now. I have this box. Inside my index.html, I have this input field, and for this I have given the type as text. Now suppose I have multiple input fields like type is equal to text, type is equal to email, type is equal to submit, and I want to select this input field with the type as text. So for that, what I'll be doing is I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as input. Inside this, I'll be giving this one document.getQuerySelector. I'll be using query selector, and inside my query selector I'll just give my input field name, and inside square bracket I'll just give here type is equal to my text. If I have email, I can just give email. Now I want to select type is equal to text, so I'll be giving this one, and this is going to select me input field with text. Suppose if I give here one more input field, and for that I'll be giving the type as email. Input and type I'll just give email. Now if I refresh my project, you can see I have this input field with type email, and this is my text. Now I'm just selecting my type input field which is having the type as text. I'll just do console.log, and if I pass this input, I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see I'm getting this input field as my output, okay, which is having this id is equal to type is equal to text. Now instead of this text, if I give here email, I'll save this, I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here my type is equal to email. Okay, this is how we can access the input field. Okay, when we have input field, and if we want to access particular input field, then we can just use this type is equal to email, and we have to write this input field without giving any space. Write this one, type is equal to email, type is equal to text, type is equal to password. Okay, we can give any type and we can access that element. Now here I'll just change the type to text. And now for my input, I'll be adding event listener, input that, add event listener, and I'll just add one, I'll be adding key down. Okay, you can see key down, and inside this I'll pass my function, my function. Now I'm just going to define that function here. So for that I'm just going to copy this, and here I'll be pasting that one. Inside this I'll just write here console.log e.type. I'll save this, I'll open my console now, I'll refresh this one. Now you can, my function is not defined, my function func. Okay, I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see here I have this input field. I'll just comment this input as of now. I'll refresh. Now I have given key down. Key down means now here when I click on any of the key, suppose if I click on S, when I click, that time I'll be getting this. When I leave, this function will not be triggered. When I click on this, only that time it is going to trigger, and I'm getting this number is getting increased. You can see here, I'll clear this. Again, if I click here, this key down event is triggered. Okay, we have key down, we have another function, we have another event function, that is our key up. I'll save this, I'll refresh this one. Now here, now when I click on this, this function is not going to trigger. As soon as I leave that key, this function is going to trigger. You can see key up function. We have another function, that is our key press. Whenever I press on some key, that function will trigger. I'll refresh this. See, whenever I press, as soon as I leave, it's going to stop. Okay, this is how key press will work. Now whatever values I have, I want to access that values instead of this paragraph, I want this value to be printed here. So for that I can just access my paragraph here using this document.querselector, and I want to access my paragraph element, and inside my paragraph I'll just give here inner HTML, and I'll just pass this e.type, and I want to access the value, not type, I'll just give here target. I want to access its value. Whatever I am targeting, that is my input field, and whatever value it is having inside that, I want to access that one. Now I'll type something here. Now you can see in place of paragraph, this is getting typed. Okay, whatever I type here, that is getting typed inside my paragraph, and all the content inside the paragraph is being deleted, and I'll be getting this as my output. Okay, this is all about our input functions. Once you get to know about this, then you will get to know more about our input functions, and you can practice more and you can explore more. We have focus and blur functions as well, event functions. I'll just comment this everything now. I don't need this. I'll comment, I'll refresh this. Now next we have blur and focus functions. Blur and focus functions, event functions, basically it is event functions. Now for this, I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll uncomment this. Now instead of this key press, I'll just write here focus, and also I'll copy this, and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll refresh this. Now whenever I focus this, this event will be fired and I'll be getting focus as my output. Okay, we have blur. Instead of focus event, we have blur as well. We have blur. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see as soon as I move, as soon as I leave my focus, then this event will be fired and I'll be getting blur as my event function, that is my type. We have many functions. We have cut, we have paste, we have input. Okay, you can just explore this one. This we are not going to use much in our projects and much in our real time, but we have to know that this function, this event functions also exist. Okay, we have cut, we have paste, we have input. Okay, we have many functions. Now we will see our next event functions, that is our select change functions. Here I'll just create one select element. Inside this, I don't need this name and ID. I'll just remove this. And here I am just going to pass options. I'll just pass 3 options here. Inside value, I'll just give here 1, 2 and 3. Here I am just going to write 1. Below I'll be writing 2. And here I'll just write 3. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see I have this select, and inside I'll just comment this one. I don't need that box now. Now you can see I have this 1, 2 and 3 as my options. Inside my select item, I have all these options. Now we will see how to handle these events. I'll just write here select event functions. Now for this, I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as select. I'll just access that one, document.querselector. I'll copy from here and I am going to paste it here, query selector, and I want to select my select element. Now for this, I'm going to add event listener. Add event listener. Inside this, I'll be passing change function. Okay, this function will occur whenever I change the option, then this function will occur. Here I'll just write my function name, my function, and I'm just going to copy this function, and here I'll be pasting that function. Now if I refresh this one, I'll just come here. Now when I click on, when I change my options, you can see this event function is occurring, that is my change. Okay, this is how it works. Whenever I change the options, this function change event function will occur. Now we will see our final event, that is our submit event, and finally we are going to make our project and we are going to end this session. Now below this, I'll just create one form, and inside this form I'm going to create input field, type is equal to text, and I'll be creating 2 input field, and last I'll just give here input, and type I'll just give here submit. I'll save this, and now if I refresh this, you can see I have this 3 input field and my submit button here. I'll just come to event JavaScript file, and here I'll be writing this submit event function. Now below this, I'll just copy this entire thing. Here I'll be pasting that one. Instead of select, I'll just write here submit. And I want to select my form. I want to select my entire form here, this form field. I'll just remove this action. I'm just selecting this form field and I'll be accessing that one now. Instead of this, let me just give here form. Here also I'll be giving form. Now I've accessed that one. Now here, instead of this, I'll just give a submit event function. I want my function to be executed, and inside this function I'm just passing this function, my function control. Okay, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now whenever I click on submit, you can see my submit, I'm getting this, but it's going within a blink of time. Everything is getting submitted. I'm not getting the exact output what I want. So to avoid that one, we have to use here prevent default. Okay, we have to prevent default submitting here. We just have to write here prevent default, prevent default. I'll refresh this one now. Now when I click on submit, you can see my submit function is executing and this function is triggered and I'm getting this output. Okay, that blink I was getting, if you add this line, this will just prevent submitting our form. I'll just refresh it again. Now if I click on submit, you can see it's submitting but within a blink. Okay, so to prevent that one, we are just using this line, and this function will be triggered and we'll be getting this as our output. Okay, now we have seen almost all the concepts of DOM, document object model, DOM manipulation. Now finally, what all we have learned till now, we'll make one project, we'll put all the concepts into that practical project and we'll understand all the concepts, and later on you can create your own projects using DOM manipulation and you can create beautiful dynamic website. Now we are going to create simple to-do list apps so that whatever concepts we have learned, we will be applying in this project and we will revise all the concepts what we have learned. Okay, I have created my folder called DOM project. Inside this I have two files, index.html and script.js. Inside my index.html I have written this basic snippet. I have changed my title to simple to do list, and here I'll be linking my bootstrap CSS link, okay, so that we don't waste our time in styling part. Okay, here I have this bootstrap website. From here I'll just copy this CSS link and here I'm going to paste that one, and I'll remove this entire thing. I don't need this part. I'll just remove this. Now inside my body, and here you can see I have linked my JavaScript file, that is my script.js. Now inside my body I'll create one div. I'll give my class name as container, not this, I'll just give container. Inside this I'll just come to bootstrap website and here I'll search for form. I'll just click on this and I'll be selecting this basic form. I'll copy this and here I'll be pasting that one. I'll save this. Now if I'll just copy this path now. You can see here I got this basic form. I don't need this email everything. Control B, and from here I'm just going to remove this entire thing. This entire thing I don't need, and also this I'm going to remove, and instead of this one, instead of this I don't need. This label also I'll be removing from here. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see I have only one input field and my submit button, and my placeholder is being changed, and the type of the input field is text. For my container I'll just give here margin from top and bottom, I'll give 5. I'll save this so that it will not stick on top. Now if you see I have this margin that is margin by top and bottom I'll be having 5. Now below this I want my URL list, and inside that whenever I add the items and whenever I click on submit, new list items should be added. So for that, here I'll just type list group. Okay, I'll be selecting this one, list group flush, okay, so that I'll be having this underlines. I'll just copy this, and below this form, okay, below my form I'll be pasting that one. Now I'll just come to my project. Now if I refresh this, you can see I have this URL list and this list items. Now for this I'll just remove this spaces, unnecessary spaces. For my form I'll just give ID as add form, and for my URL list, here I have this class, I'll just give ID as list. For my button I'll just give margin only from bottom, I'll give margin bottom 3. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, I have some space. I'll give more, I'll give both from top and bottom, margin 5. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, I have some space. Now whenever I add the item, this will be added here. Now if I add item, I want to delete that item, so I want here cross symbol here. So for that, in my list item here I'll be adding one button, and inside this I'll just give here X, and or I can just give here and times, but let it be X. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, you can see I have my button here. I'm just going to add some class. Class is equal to btn danger. This is bootstrap class. Now my button will become red. You can see I have this button, but I want this button here on my right side. So for that we have to give one more class, that is nothing but our float right. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see I have my button here. I want this button in all my list items. I'll just copy this button from here. I'll copy this, and here here and here. I want to paste that one. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, you can see I have all my buttons, I have my list items, I have my input field. I will be entering something here, and when I click on submit, this should be added here, and this cross symbol should be added. And when I click on this cross symbol, everything whatever I added, that should get deleted. Now if I click, it's not working. Now if I click this, it's not working because we have not added any functionality yet. We will be writing JavaScript code for this, and we are going to use all the concepts what we have learned till now. Now I'll just come to my script file, script.js file, and inside this first I'll be accessing my form and my list item. So for that I'll just create one variable called form. Inside this I'll just give this document.getElementById, and for my form I have given the ID as @form. This I'll just copy this, and here I'll be pasting that one. Okay, I have accessed my complete form. Now I want to access my list item, ul list. For this I'll create one variable list item. Inside this I'll just take this entire thing, I'll paste it here, and instead of @form I'll just give my ID, that is my list. Okay, inside my ul I have given the ID as list. Okay, I have accessed my form and my list item. Now for my form I'll be adding event listener, and whenever I click on submit, okay, whenever I click on submit, only then the item should be added. So here form dot add event listener, and our event listener is submit. Okay, we have already seen this, and inside this I'll be passing this target element, that is nothing but our event argument, and inside this whenever we click on submit, the form should not be submitted by itself. So to prevent that, we are going to use this one, e.preventDefault method. Only then our form will not get submitted. Now here if you see, this is my input list, and whatever I enter into this list, that value I need. So for that we have to access our input field. I'll be accessing my input field here. Here I'll just give one variable new item, and inside this I want to access my this input field. For this I'll just give one ID. I'll give it as item. Now I'll be accessing this. I'll just copy this, and here I'll just write this document.getElementById, and inside this I'll be pasting that ID. I'll just do console.log, and inside this I'll just pass this new item. I'll save this. I'll come to my project. I'll refresh this one. Now if I inspect this, you can see in my console I'll refresh this one. Okay, it's not working. I'll just click on submit button. Now when I click on submit, you can see I'll be getting input field as my output. Okay, whenever I click on submit, in my console I have just printed this new item. Now I don't want this input field as my output. I want whatever value I enter, that I want. So for that I'll just write here value. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this, and here if I type apple, and if I click on submit, here you can see I'll be getting apple as my output. Okay, this is what I want. Whenever I click on submit, this apple should be added here. Okay, now I have accessed the value of my input field. I'll just comment this one. Now I have to create one list item, so that whenever I click on submit, that new list item should be added inside my unordered list. So to create new list item, I'll create one variable li. Inside this I'll be giving this document.createElement, and I want to create my li. Okay, now inside this I want to add the same class, whatever class this list item is having. You can see in this list item I have this class name. I will be adding the same class name. I'll copy from here, li.className. Inside this I'll just pass this class name, whatever I copied from there, I'll be pasting that one. Okay, that class name should be same, only then it will be added. Now inside my list item, li.innerHTML, I want to store whatever value I'll be getting from here. I want to add that one. We have already seen that if I type apple, I'll be getting apple as my output. So whatever value I'm getting from there, I want to add that item inside my list item. So innerHTML will be equal to my new item. Okay, now once I create my list item, I want to create this button also. Whenever I click on this, when apple gets added, this button should also be added. So for that I'll create one variable. I'll give my variable name as button, and inside this I'll just give this document.createElement, create element, and I will be creating my button element. Now for this I'll be adding the same class name whatever that wrong symbol is having, button dot class name, and inside this button whatever class name it is having, this entire thing I'll just copy from here, and here I'm going to paste that one. Okay, same class name we have to add, only then it will float to right. Now inside my button, the text inner HTML, it's nothing but our X. Okay, whatever we have given here, I have this X symbol, so I have just given here X. Okay, I have created one list item, I have created one button, I have added same class name for both of them whatever I have inside my index.html. Now I have to append child, only then it works. I'll just do inside my list item, I want to append this child, that is nothing but my button. I want to append my button element, and inside my UL list, okay, here I have accessed my UL list, and inside this UL list I want to append my entire li. Append child, okay, I want to append this list item which is having the list content and button, and that both I am appending to my UL list. Now we are appending elements, so we should not enclose with single quotes or double quotes. I'll refresh this one, I'll just append apple. Now when I click on submit, you can see apple and this button is been added. Okay, only within this few lines of code we can add new list items here. Now if I add here mango, I'll just write mango. Now you can see I don't have mango. When I click on submit, my mango and this cross symbol has been added, and these styles have been applied because we have added the same class name inside those elements, and that list item, okay, this list item is appending the button child and this entire UL list, okay, which we have already accessed here, and that is appending the entire list item which is holding the list content and our button. Okay, now once we have added elements, now we have to remove the elements from here. Now whenever I click on this, it should be removed. I'll close this. Here for my list item, this I'll just copy from here, I'll be pasting it here. For this I'll be adding add event listener, and I'll be adding click function for this. Whenever I click on this, only then it should work, or else it should not work. Here I'll be passing this event, okay, event argument. Now inside this, you can see here inside this function, I'll just write here console.log, and I'll just show you e.target. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, I'll just open my console here. Now when I click on this, this is targeting my list item, so I'll be getting list item as my output. Now when I click on this cross symbol, now you can see this is targeting my button, so I'll be getting button as my target element, and that will be my output. Whatever I target, that will be given me as my output. Now inside this, I'll just check one condition. If I'll just write here e.target dot, I'll just give this class list, okay, class list, and using this contains method, I'll just check that if my class name is having this, out of this cross symbol I can take any one of this. I can either take float right, okay, this is unique for all my buttons, or I can also take button danger. I'll just take this button, okay, it's simple. I'll just take this one, and here I'm going to paste that button class. Okay, I'm just checking if that particular target, if it is having this class name, only then remove that. So inside this, I'll just create one variable. I'll give my variable name as li, and in here I'll just store one value, e.target, whatever I am targeting. If whichever element is having this button as class, I just want to target its parent element. Now in my HTML, my button's parent is my list item, so I have to access this list item, and I want to delete this entire thing. So here e.target dot, I'll just write here parent element of my button. Now if I show you in console.log, and I'll just pass here li. I'll save this. Now if I refresh this one, now you can see I don't have anything. Now when I click on this cross symbol, I'll be getting its list item, that is this list item is the parent of this button, so I'll be getting this list item, and I want to delete this entire list item from my UL list. Okay, now using this one, I got the parent element of my button. Now I want to remove this parent element so that the cross symbol and the content, whatever it is having, that will be deleted. So here I'll just write my list item, dot, we have already seen this remove child method, remove child. Inside this I want to remove this li list, which is having the parent, which is the parent of my button, and I am targeting the button, and inside this variable I have stored that one, and using this remove child method I am removing the child from my list item. I'll refresh this one. Now when I click on, see, it's getting removed. Now when I click on this, it's getting removed. Now I can add new items. I'll add apple, submit. You can see apple is been added. Now when I click on this, it's getting removed, and the parent is nothing but my list item. Okay, I have removed the console. Now if I just uncomment this one, I'll refresh my project. Now when I click on this, you can see the parent is my list item and the content is this whatever I have and my cross symbol here. Okay, this is how we can create simple to-do list app. We can add the content and we can delete the content. Okay, we have seen the concepts, whatever we have learned. Okay, some basics concepts we have applied in this project. We have done with our DOM manipulation session. Practice this one, prepare more projects, practice a lot and explore more. There are many event functions, explore that one, implement those event functions in your projects and make your projects more dynamic and more beautiful. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.